Just imagine one thing. Around 6 lakh years ago, humans were just like other species, struggling to survive on the earth. But today, that human beings are developing artificial intelligence that can replace even them. And the strange part is that even after all this progress, we the human beings don't understand our own minds. We can build sophisticated, even automated machines, but we can't control our own emotions. We have tamed almost all the powerful energies of the earth, and also animals that are more powerful than even humans. But even after having that superior level of intelligence, we make irrational decisions every single day, even today. Recently, I have completed 5 books that have completely changed the way I look at human mind, human civilization, society, our emotions. Today in this video, I will tell you what these books are about, what makes them so interesting, and why I think that you must read these books once in your lifetime. The first book I'm going to recommend you is Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. This book has completely changed the way I look at humanity. The most fascinating idea in this book is that humans dominated the world not because they were the physically strongest, but because we the humans could collectively believe in imaginary systems. Money, religion, nations, corporations, none of this physically exists in nature. They exist because millions of people agree to believe in them together. The author argues that this shared imagination is humanity's real superpower. The book also discusses about how Homo sapiens became the only surviving human species, and whether other human species like Neanderthals were disappeared naturally or were eliminated by us. Honestly speaking, even the introduction of the book is really mind-boggling. In the introduction, the author talked about how around 14 billion years ago, energy, matter, time came into being, and how the fundamental features of physics were coming out as a result of Big Bang. And then he beautifully clarified how around 3 lakh years after Big Bang, chemistry started to emerge through molecular interactions. Also, he talked about how around 4 billion years ago, the story of organisms started with biology. And the most interesting fact that I have found in this book is that around 70,000 years ago, due to cognitive revolution, Homo sapiens started to form cultures, and from there started our history. I found this book really eye-opening. So, if you really want to read a book that expands the way you look at humanity itself, then you must give it a try. I can assure you, this book will definitely blow up your mind. The next book I will suggest you is Thinking Fast and Slow by Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman. This book is really a masterpiece. In this book, the author explains that our mind works in 2 systems. System 1 is fast, automatic, emotional, impulsive. On the other hand, System 2 is slow, logical, analytical. Most of our decisions are controlled by System 1, even when we think that we are taking rational decisions. The book gives a great insight about cognitive biases, mental shortcuts that often lead us to wrong decisions without us even realizing it. For example, we become overconfident in our opinions. We fear losses more than we value gains. And we judge situations emotionally instead of logically. One of the biggest takeaways from the book is that intelligence alone cannot protect you from bad thinking. You will be surprised by knowing that even smart people make irrational decisions because the brain prefers shortcuts, convenience over careful analysis. I'm sure that after reading this book, you will start noticing that how your mind tricks you on a daily basis while making decisions, judging people, spending money, or even planning for future. Now the next book that I am going to talk about is Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. This book explains why being only intelligent is not enough to live a good life. We generally think that success mostly depends on IQ, knowledge, talent. But Daniel Goleman argues that in today's world, our ability to manage our emotions also plays a decisive role to become successful. The book talks about emotional self-awareness, empathy, social skills, and shows how they are significant for a fulfilling life. One of the most interesting ideas in this book is emotional hijack. The moment when emotions become so strong that our logic temporarily stops working. Most bad decisions in life happen in this moment. The book beautifully explains why some highly intelligent people struggle with stress, anger, communication, relationship, discipline. The book clearly conveys that a person could be technically brilliant, but without emotional control, people skills, long-term growth becomes difficult. After reading this book, you will start realizing that emotional control is not a soft skill, it's a survival skill. So, if you want to improve your relationships, decision making, self awareness, this book is extremely valuable. So, you must give it a try. The fourth book is 21 Lessons for 21st Century, again by Yuval Noah Harari. In this book, the author focuses less on the past and more on the confusing world that we are living in right now. The author talks about topics like artificial intelligence, fake news, nationalism, technology, future of work. One of the greatest ideas in this book is that modern world is changing faster than human psychology can adapt to it. Technology changes within years, but human psychology was shaped by thousands of years of evolution. That's why our mind still reacts with the same fear, ego, tribalism, and emotional impulses. The book also talks about how information overload, algorithms shape our opinion without us even noticing. According to Harari, in a world full of noise, manipulation, distraction, clarity and adaptability are becoming more important than certainty. Another important point is that the skills we learn today may become irrelevant tomorrow. So continuous learning is no more optional, it's mandatory for your survival. So try to learn and adapt with new skills to become relevant in today's world. If you really want to understand the modern world, technological changes, and challenges humans may face in the coming decades, then this book can be a thought-provoking guidance for you. So try to read this book at least once in your life. The fifth and the final book that I'm going to talk about is Where Will Men Take Us by Atul Jalan. This book talks about artificial intelligence, biotechnology, automation, and how technology can reshape human life in the coming decades. The mind-blowing idea that I have found in this book is that in future, human being may evolve as a completely new species through genetic engineering, artificial intelligence, and other cutting-edge technologies. In other words, first time in history, humans may start actively redesigning human evolution itself. Is this not mind-boggling? When I was reading this book, this particular line gave me goosebumps. If you think deeply about the future of humanity, you can't afford to ignore this book.